Hello, my children. Come and sit down with me, everyone in the library corner, because I'm about to tell you a tale of legend. This is the very first story that I wrote, the great-grandmother of the rewrite, and any books to come after it. So brace yourselves, grab your ponytails, and brace yourselves to be drawn into this tragic tale. It is not for the faint of heart. It is a story of drama, romance, and bloodshed. Surely, to go down in history, you are going to tell your children about this breathtaking story I got for you here. The title, Flame Beats Acid. Do not be fooled by the nonsensical title. This is the Old Testament. I wrote this when I was 8 years old and only remembered it now. So now I am determined to make you die inside, as I have after rereading this gripping novel. It is a Transformers fan fiction centered around myself, insert Mary Sue, Razorflame. Now, I'm not going to read the entire thing, just the best of what 8-year-old me had to offer. So, without further ado, take my hand, grab your story-eating gloves, and take my hand and be ready to have your mind indulged in this piece of literature. Ready to have your mind blown by this true masterpiece. Because I'm about to put sounds in the air from my mouth that goes into your ear and puts things inside your head that you will never be able to erase. Here we go. The story begins in the most logical place, a volleyball match. There's nothing to note here except the names and descriptions of the cast, delicately woven into a very not jarring or distracting way. No, sir, this is the work of a master. Also, Cliffjumper is there for some reason, even though I'm pretty sure that he's dead. But don't question it. Do not question the word of a master author. This author's world has no death in it. That's just how good it is. First piece of writing from this novel is presented to you now. She couldn't help overhear Ratchet saying something, so she listened as she reached for the old windshield to put it in the trash. We have a call from the good Decepticons of a strange Insecticon that called herself Acidity. Suddenly, the old windshield broke in her hands as she crushed it in anger. What did you say? She started forward. Acidity? He said nervously. She advanced rapidly to the computer and peered at it. After a few silent seconds, she burst out, transforming, and blasted fire at the roof. Also, side note, she's a Predicon, because of course she's a Predicon. Razor had never felt more angry in her life. The anger swelled, and she burst out and crashed around, smashing things and swinging her tail in a rage, because people are just allowed to do that if they're mad. Then B tried. Here we go. The beautiful, subtle, romantic plot here. B grasped her shoulder and said, "Please, we can't understand you like that. We want to help." He looked her in the eyes, and she looked back, and immediately stopped. She transformed and said, "Okay, we have to go find and smash her to the ground. She is a danger to everyone," and stomped her foot. Our story is off to a great start here. There are some compelling narratives, and you have been surely hooked. You are on the edge of your seat to see where this story will go. Okay, so we're in the next scene now, a true masterpiece, and you must read it. Here it is. Razor jumped out and looked around on high alert, listening for Acidity. All of a sudden, a blur of metal smacked into Razor and flung her to the ground. Razor flared up in fury and hatred and blasted lasers at the woman-bot figure on top of her. It screeched and transformed into a scorpion and jabbed its stinger at Razor and crawled out of the way of her shots. Where are the lasers coming from? Razor transformed beast and flung fire at the scorpion. It saw the other bots coming out. Look, the furious look in... That's a very bad grammar right there. Bots coming out looked at the furious look in Razor's eyes and started to dig at the ground, flinging soil everywhere. This is definitely not just Arachnid, okay? This is a completely original villain. I didn't copy Arachnid. Arachnid copied me! Acidity was gone down the hole. Razor crashed around in a rage and roared at the sky. She saw the others and looked down the hole and funneled a blast of fire down it. Kinky. A cackle of laughter rose from the hole. I didn't know that was a noise I could produce. Okay, on to the story. And Razorflame roared down the gap. She got ready to climb down and kill that wretched scorpion, but B said, "Don't. You might get hurt." Razor stopped It was like a bucket of water dumped over her flames of anger. She transformed, feeling warm inside from him. "Okay," she said, "but that seemed too quick. I hope she comes back. I want a round 2, so I can beat her to the ground," Razor joked. The next day, the Autobots planned to go and try again with acidity. Bumblebee made sure... Oh yeah, we're inside Bumblebee's point of view for some reason. Bumblebee needed to make sure to get next to Razor. He might need to calm her down again. He suddenly realized that he seemed to have this good feeling when he looked at her, and to feel warm inside of him when she touched him. That's kind of... But he seemed to strongly love... It could not be that feeling. Could it? This is one of those things that you really need to think hard about. You need to really get some of that brain juice out to realize that this is a metaphor and how they're in love. It is very subtle and you can barely tell, but you can infer if you read in between the lines that they are so straight for each other. Can you tell? I didn't think anyone would notice. There is no way that anyone could have guessed by now. I'm going to stop. Ratchet powered up the ground bridge and it glowed the strange aura. You know, the strange aura that I don't have to describe. Everyone walked through, but Razor burst through the ground bridge and got her laser ready. Where is the laser coming from? Nothing. She said, "Follow me," and stalked off into the forest. Suddenly, she heard a voice in the trees. "Razorflame, how nice to see you," the voice said slyly. She flared up in anger and shot everywhere. The other bots looked around in confusion and then shot at every rustle of a leaf in a defensive formation. The voice chuckled. Razor trudged through the forest, really trying to keep the dam to block up her thoughts on what acidity did. Razor concentrated on following the slow rumble of laughter from the voice. She spied the gaping mouth of a cave in the clearing. "Gotcha! Revenge time," Razor whispered to herself, as one does. She signaled for the others to follow. "Who made her boss?" Smokescreen asked. She walked to the mouth of the cave on high alert with her lasers at the ready, the lasers that she very clearly has. She poked around for a moment in the cave, looking for any clue of her. Suddenly, a huge metal scorpion lunged out of the darkness, aiming for Razor's neck. "We're getting into a battle scene, guys. Get ready. Grab onto your ponytails harder." Razor flung herself aside and shot at the scorpion's exposed underbelly. It shrieked in fury as the shots made smoking gashes into her underbelly. Razor transformed and flung fire at the writhing scorpion. Soon the other bots heard the commotion and came rushing in to see Razor and the scorpion fighting in a very heated battle. Razor screeched out a roar of fury and sadness. It started to advance on the scorpion, claws slashing like knives. The scorpion shuddered as if it was shifting its skin and transformed into a woman. Razor pinned her down, a triumphant look in her eyes, warmed up her fire, and got ready to shoot. Why is this getting so kinky? Unexpectedly, acidity transformed into her scorpion form and lunged her stinger tail at Razor. This is gonna get age restricted. She barely twisted out of the way when an intense sting shot into her left arm, and she was flung off of acidity with impulsive force. Razor slammed into the hard stone wall, and it was all black. Because the best plot device is unconsciousness. It never fails. Always end the chapter with the character going unconscious. This right here, I'm going to warn you, this is some really subtle writing, and you might not get it at first, but just so you know, Bumblebee is definitely straight. Okay, so now we're in Bumblebee's POV. Bumblebee saw Razorflame on the ground and gasped, thinking, "I have to help her!" Without hesitation, he jumped in front of Razor and blasted at the advancing scorpion numerous times. It doubled backwards and saw all the bots and skittered into the depths of the cave. "Whoa, it's gone," assumed Smokescreen as he ambled in. 'Cause he's so funny like that. Bee saw the sting on her left arm and felt a strong amount of worry. That's so descriptive. A strong amount of worry. That other warm feeling for the beautiful Prediking. With all of them, they got her up easily. Ratchet, we need an emergency ground bridge, now, he yelled through the comm link. Ooh, we get the chapter ended at a cliffhanger right here. This is some nice cliffhanger juice that you're sucking up, okay? Are you worried for the heroine? She might die. Wait, no, she's alive. Razor shuddered. What happened, she thought. Her eyes fluttered open. She sat up, but then felt a massive amount of throbbing in her arm. Very descriptive. Again, just say massive and it'll work. And plopped down again with a crash, groaning in pain. Easy now, don't move, she heard Ratchet say. She felt something small cut into her arm, and then the pain faded a bit so she could think straight, because she hasn't been thinking straight enough yet, guys. She needs to think more straight. Her vision blurred and started to focus. She saw Claw Swipe. Wait, who's Claw Swipe? I don't know who Claw Swipe is. Claw Swipe, Bumblebee, everyone around the medical bed that she was laying in. What happened, she asked as she started to get up. Ratchet sounded up, and pushed her gently but firmly down. Rest. Now I was going to ask you the same thing. What happened? Well, she started. She still felt drowsy from the numbing medicine Ratchet put into her arm, but Razor managed to get out. I was winning and then she stung me and it hurt a lot. Razor sat up again and said, I have to go back out there and squish that bug. It's not a bug, it's an arachnid. She started to get out of bed. No way, no how, Ratchet said sternly, not in your condition. It's just a scratch, she said, because she's a very strong female character. She is not like other girls. Look how strong she is. She's trying to die. Wait, where was I? Ratchet looked at it. See, it's not all right, Mrs. It's fine. I know you are brave and good because you're so strong. You're such a strong female character. But you can't just ignore a poison sting, even if it's just a scratch otherwise. Razor sighed and laid back down and got a crazy idea. We got some foreshadowing in here, guys. Are you ready to see what crazy idea she has? Well, too bad, because we're going back to Ratchet's POV for absolutely no reason, and then we go back to Razor. So what happens is Razor hears that everyone is asleep now, because people make noises whenever they go to sleep. It's like a da-da-da-da. Because they're robots. Okay, so everyone's asleep, and then she goes to the warp pad, and no, not the warp pad, that's the Steven Universe. She goes to the ground bridge, and she opens it up without anyone noticing, and then she notices that she might die, so she goes back, and we get some more of this good romance that you've been waiting for. Okay, so she paused to look at Bumblebee and whispered, this might be goodbye. I just wanted you to know I love you. This isn't creepy at all. She raced through the ground bridge just before it closed towards her mortal enemy. Cliffhanger!